an old school radio microphone is lowered from the sky.
Where does this line connect to, you may ask, Peter? I believe it is the direct line to the German Chancellor. That's how influential Scooter now is in Germany.
Oh, hi there, I'm Peter and this is Chris.
Can you believe this? We're on episode number 5.
5, wow.
People said that they'd get t-shirts printed and stuff when we got here.
Yeah.
And I would actually agree with that. This is incredible news. This is huge.
Number 5, and we are very much still alive for now. And it's all thanks to you, dear viewer / listener, depending on which platform you're tuning in on, of course.
You know what? I actually think that, like, obviously I can't bear to watch or listen back to us because I hate us both. However, if I did, I think I would probably find Spotify easier because you don't have to look at us. However, that said, you know, YouTube or Spotify, we welcome you all.
Yeah.
Patreon.com as well /epic news if you watch through there, because we put all the episodes up there too.
We love hearing from you guys and gals. We can officially say gals now because we have confirmation that there's at least 2 women who listen to the podcast.
That's incredible.
Which is amazing.
That's more sexual partners than Peter and I have had in our lives. So like, that's still enormous. That's still incredible.
So thank you for your lovely support.
There are some lovely comments as well on both YouTube and through the Patreon, and some private messages and stuff on there, just being like, I like when you guys kind of talk the shit a little more, when you're a little more spacious with it. It's nice that you're able to do that. And no cap, on God, for real, Peter, to use Gen Z slang, I agree.
Just for you, the Myth Mac, who said, look at these lads with notions. 4 episodes. Suppose they'll do a 5th one. We weren't going to, the Myth Mac, until you wrote that, and we said, we'll give it a go. So this one's dedicated
just to spite you, Mythmac, because you said we had notions.
And shout out to Clark Lad as well, who says, week after week, lads, you're setting a standard here now. But then Pam replies underneath, which I think it's particularly relevant for us, Christopher. She says, I'm going to fall into a trap of thinking this will become a regular series every Wednesday. And, yeah, we're very much in rehabilitation.
Actually, you know how with stuff like Alcoholics Anonymous and all that, they get like 1-day chips and like 1-year chips, like as in they give them these little kind of trinkets if they get to certain milestones. Yeah. I feel we need that for episodes. We need like our 1-episode chip, our 10-episode chip.
What is this called? Is this like Useless Bastards Anonymous or something?
More or less, pretty much. Absolute fucking wasters Anonymous.
Here's to 5 more.
But can I just address something very quickly, by the way, as well? Somebody says here, anyone else unable to not stare at the mark on Chris's forehead? It looks like he burst a euro with a headbutt for daring to stand on its side. So a few people have commented. Another commenter said, did you headbutt the mic, Chris?
Oh, people are asking the hard questions here.
Can I share something with you genuinely? And this is not me making any kind of shtick or joke here or anything. I used to sleepwalk terribly when I was a child. Like, I had chronic sleepwalking. I would sleepwalk all around the house. Sometimes I would literally be outside. Like, I had desperate sleepwalking as a kid. And I only grew out of it, we'll say, as a younger adult. Even as a kind of a teen and stuff, I still sleepwalked. I don't know, whatever the fuck. Yeah.
Like, proper leaving your house sleepwalking.
Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow.
And then I would sometimes like wake up outside or whatever, or I'd wake up in different rooms of the house, and it was very weird. However, sometimes, this is not a joke, given that we're talking about the fact I had a huge cut on my forehead in the last episode that I can't explain. I have no idea. I sometimes wake up with cuts on my body. This is not a joke, right? And because I used to sleepwalk as a child, no, this isn't a joke. Because I used to sleepwalk as a child, this is actually something that, sure, I'm saying half as a joke, but also half realistically. You know, sometimes, like, particularly over the weekends, when, like, there's reports of murders in Dublin, and I wake up and I have cuts on my face, I'm like, shit, I can't be sure that wasn't me. I feel like the plot of some weird psychological thriller.
You wonder, you're half thinking,
where like at night I murder people and don't remember it. Yeah, did I kill a drug dealer over the weekend?
Did I walk halfway across town and murder a man?
I'll wake up, I'll have cuts on my face, I might have like a bruise on my thigh for no reason. And I'm like, what the fuck was I doing?
Isn't that like the plot of the movie Memento?
That's what I feel I'm like when I wake up and I have one of those cuts. But anyway, thank you for all of the comments, even the shit stirring. It is all very good fun.
I suppose we don't want to overwhelm new listeners with another 10 minutes of Star Trek fans roasting us. So
for anyone who's new, we are trying to be a little bit more accommodating. So let's do that later in the show, Peter.
Thank you all.
Remember, you can support our Patreon or send your life savings to our Nigerian bank account. Just contact epicnews_not-a-scam at don'ttellthepolice.com. It's your choice.
A woman in Dublin was scammed out of €25,000 because she thought she was dating Chris Martin from Coldplay. Can I just say something controversial here? And believe me, I am all about protecting the vulnerable members of our society, and it does sound like a lot of these people are, I think, tremendously lonely, tremendously naive, tremendously easily led. But this shouldn't be a crime. This is an absolute fucking waste of police resources. Tracking people down who send money to people who pose as celebrities on Instagram. Like, God all fucking mighty, come on here.
I think, God, they must be very lonely and they have a lot going on. And, you know, maybe this was a complicated scam. But then when I see how they've been scammed and I hear more about the details, my sympathy starts waning a little, shall we say.
Imagine believing Chris Martin, a man worth £150 million, is sitting there in his hotel room, backstage at the Grammys or something in the green room, wondering, God, will I text one of thousands of models that I know, or Dakota Fanning or Gwyneth Paltrow,
supermodels,
or will I DM
whoever.
this woman from my private Twitter account and ask for money for Ryanair flights to go see her in Dublin?
This is where I have to ask, at what point did she not think, wait, maybe the lead singer of one of the biggest bands literally in the world right now does not need me to PayPal him €500 for a flight to Dublin?
Sure. I like as well how there's also the whole, listen, you can't tell anybody, okay? This is a secret. This is definitely me, Chris Martin from Coldplay.
Yeah.
But just don't tell anybody you're talking to me, Chris Martin from Coldplay, all right?
Yeah, it's got to stay between us. Love, Chris Martin from Coldplay.
I hope he kept referring to himself as Chris Martin from Coldplay.
Do not tell the police. Signed, Chris Martin from Coldplay.
The police simply wouldn't understand. Sincerely, me, Chris Martin from Coldplay.
Chris Martin from Coldplay.
You know, it's mad because as well, if you read here as well in the article, I love that he also faked a Skype call with Coldplay's bassist, as though that was somehow proof that she was talking to Chris Martin from Coldplay, you know?
Man, if that isn't an excuse to go and liquidate your savings, I don't know what is.
Well, listen, it sounds like the fucking bassist from Coldplay. Who even is? Does anybody know who the fucking Coldplay bassist is? As many people know who you and I are, Peter, as know who the Coldplay bassist is. God all fucking mighty.
The bassist from Coldplay reassured me that everything was above board. So who was I to disagree?
You know what I love as well about this article? It says that the scammer then started sending her pictures of orphans that Chris Martin from Coldplay was claiming to help. And what the fuck? How does that add any further proof that you can send pictures of kids that you're saying are orphans?
You know, this guy just typed sad children stock photo into Google, screenshotted the first result, and Bob's your uncle.
That's literally what happened. I guarantee you that is what happened. And then suddenly she's like, oh well, do you know what? Now that you've sent me a picture of children that look like they're orphans.
Yeah, you said you were going to help children, and, well, he sent me a picture of, well, these are definitely children, so it seems legit to me.
Chris Martin could buy the African nation that this supposed orphan is from. The last thing he needs is this woman's help with a few quid.
He could buy the African nation and a matching African nation. He could buy a full set of African nations.
But then he asks for €22,000, and you're like, oh, come on.
There was also an interesting one lately from a woman in France who thought she was talking to Brad Pitt, and she was a married lady who cleared out her life savings as well. That's got to be an embarrassing one.
This is happening all the time.
Look at the photos here.
This is one of the most desperate photoshops I have ever seen. This is awful.
His face is a different color than his body, and also I think she scammed him here into believing he needed money for some life-saving surgery.
There's this weird type of thing where they always, for some reason, go to hospital. Do you think this appeals to the
Also,
maternal instinct of women or something?
The question remains, who took the picture of Brad getting the surgery here?
One of his close team that helps him with meeting strange women off the internet that then help him with medical bills.
I hope he signed Brad Pitt from Hollywood as well.
This was only last week in the UK. This woman met a guy online, he's a wealthy businessman, and then suddenly, he gets into a terrible accident in Turkey.
So everything was really good at first. You know, he seemed very forthcoming and very attentive. It was a really nice relationship over text, and it seemed normal. It seemed normal to me. And then he said that he was going away on business, and he said that he was a businessman, so I was aware of that, and that he did travel a lot with business, so I didn't really think too much of it. And again, quite not used to this sort of thing. And he said that he was going to Turkey, and he went and showed me getting off the plane. And then all of a sudden, he just went very quiet for maybe 2 to 3 days. And then he got in touch and said that he was involved in an accident and he was in hospital.
So you felt worried?
Yes.
How did he ask for the money?
He was saying how he was in hospital and this had happened to him, and obviously I was concerned and wanted to make sure he was okay. And then said that he couldn't access his bank account, and this is kind of where it all started.
Classic stuff. You meet a guy on the internet, everything's going great, then he vanishes for 2 days and comes back like, hey honey, wild update, I'm trapped in a Turkish hospital and all my money is frozen. Would you believe that? Isn't it a shocker altogether?
And he showed you the bank account, and it had lots of money in it.
Yes,
so, you know, you could see there was a practical problem.
Yes, there was over 650,000 in there, not that that matters.
If she sees his bank account screenshot with 650,000 sterling in it, why does she think I better send him more money? This is what I never get about these people. There are so many glaring red flags before they send any of the money that really, I don't know how you can have sympathy for this kind of stuff.
How horny are these women?
This is it, because also this woman's pretty attractive. Like, I'm like, how is this woman being scammed like this? Like, surely this woman doesn't have to do this for affection or love or attention. Like, I get it when someone fucking who looks like us starts doing this shit on the internet. But this, it's amazing how normal and adjusted and pretty some of these women are.
This was an entirely fraudulent bank account.
Yes.
Didn't exist, and you were being scammed in the end up to the tune of £80,000.
That's right, yes.
I love how this man's entire financial future depended on one woman in the UK just blindly transferring her life savings, and she didn't blink at all.
I think you could just say, listen, you're just going to have to man up and die in a Turkish hospital like everybody else. And if you come out the other side, this is like one of those tests. If you come out the other side, it was meant to be. If you die in Turkish hospital, well, listen, that's on you.
While romance scam victims got cold shoulders, an endangered bat has stirred up fiery emotions online.
Yeah, so this week there was a heartwarming story from across the sea that really highlights certain attitudes towards the natural world and certainly the challenges that scientists have in regards to conservation. This is a story about an endangered bat. They thought this bat was extinct, but luckily they were able to find a way to help this bat reproduce.
Listen to this, Peter. The finding of a female is rewarding and a remarkable discovery which brings huge hope for the species. So basically, I think by providing suitable roosts, restoring habitats and reducing anthropogenic threats such as artificial light and noise, the species might just stand a chance of recovering. So basically, I think they're going to get the two bats to try and mate or something. Is that what I'm picking up here?
They're trying to get them to mate, and you know, this endangered animal might survive a little longer into the future. And there's lots of great scientists working on this project. So the Guardian's take on it really gets into the nitty-gritty of why it's difficult.
Like, this is exactly what I would expect from the Guardian for a story like this. It's a real textured, nuanced way of looking at things. Absolutely. I really feel like I learned something reading this article, you know?
And then along comes the Daily Mail, who have a slightly different take on it.
My goodness, the gammons in the comment section have certainly been told what to think on this one. Jeff says, what has the world come to? Utter woke nonsense trying to get two bats to shag.
I'm not sure if it's woke, if bat shagging is woke, is it?
I don't think there's anything particularly woke or performative about that.
Yeah, I don't think it's part of any agenda. What do they say now, the DEI?
Yeah, I don't think there's any diversity, equity and inclusion that requires like there to be a greater bat population.
Yeah, yeah.
I suppose maybe biodiversity, but I don't think they've thought that much about it, Jeff.
Susan says, just drown them both in a bucket and save us all a few pound.
Don't get me wrong, maybe Susan, you don't care about saving them, but intentionally drowning them in a bucket just seemed the other end of like I would just have a live and let live attitude.
Susan,
I would just say, look, if these bats want to live on the back of their own hard work, that's fine. But I certainly wouldn't be actively drowning them either, Susan. That seems a little heavy-handed.
I'd put the bucket down, Susan. I don't think that's quite necessary.
Sorry, I've just seen Carl's comment. Sorry, Peter. What a fucking joke. Our taxpayer money wasted on wanking off flying rats. I don't believe they're masturbating them or anything, Carl. I believe they're trying to encourage them to have good old-fashioned sexual intercourse, I do believe.
I don't think there's some department where it's, which has wanking bats on the lab door.
That's the same lab where they make fake snow, I believe. The government produces its fake snow. I believe it's just down the corridor. I believe it is actually a real department.
Diane says, oh God, and this continues. Diane says, what has a bat ever done for society that we're wasting money on nonsense like this? I mean, what the fuck do you expect? The bat should be out working a 9 to 5 paying tax, is it, Diane?
The bat is a net drain on the economy, Peter. You know? The bat takes more than what it produces and pays into the tax pot. I'll tell you that right now.
Ron says, who gives a shit about two useless cunts in a cave? How does this help the immigration crisis?
I don't know if it's presented as a solution to the immigration crisis, Ron.
But here, Chris, I love this comment though.
Okay,
I have no idea what it means, and I've been thinking about it ever since. You haven't seen this one yet, Chris. Wait till you see this one. So everybody, please, answers on the back of a postcard. I'm really interested in seeing if you have any other insights on this. It's from Darren, and Darren says, worth noting that bats have the highest rate of homosexuality among all mammals, which tells us a lot, doesn't it?
What? What does it tell us? What on earth does it tell us? What have we divined here from this?
Like, is Darren saying that the bats are gay? So that's, and they've
basically had gay sex out of existence. They've gay sexed themselves out of existence, Peter, the bats. Is that what you mean? They've completely homosexualized themselves out of existence. So they've destroyed themselves through evolution because they're having too much gay sex, these bats, and they're not reproducing.
They're having too much fun in the cave. That bat was having a party in the cave.
Listening to too much techno music, having too many parties, and sure, this is the problem, isn't it?
Sure, if you think about it, aren't techno nightclubs just kind of like a bat cave? Dark, echoey, and
full of slime.
Full of slime. Finally, Rachel says, scientists should be spending time making new things that could help mankind instead of wasting it on animals too dumb to survive. And you know what, Rachel? I'm not sure if I agree with you here for many reasons, especially after watching a certain video. Have you seen this, Chris? It's from a cutting-edge research company.
I have not seen it.
That just unveiled the world's first bipedal musculoskeletal android.
This looks absolutely horrifying. Oh my God, this is fucking disturbing. What? Oh.
Look how it wriggles.
Oh, Jesus.
We're absolutely living in the Westworld timeline now.
Could they not have, like, with all the money that goes into this stuff, could they not have made it look less fucking murderous? Like, this is... Jesus Christ, with all the money now that goes into market research and consumer behavior and all of this, could they not have thought of, like, this is literally like something that would be in a fucking Resident Evil computer game, or fucking, that would be in, like, some obscure Eastern European horror. This is fucking disgracefully unpleasant and unsettling. Is there, like, did they go out of their way to make it look like
guys,
this?
Could you not have afforded €2 to get a permanent marker and just draw a fucking little smiley happy face on it or something, just to take it down a notch or two on the horrifying nightmare scale?
Sure, just, you know, like the little yellow smiley face with the 2 dots and the smile that you see on t-shirts, just that, like a really, really basic representation of something that's sort of happy and sort of anthropomorphic or whatever.
Yeah, something that doesn't look like it wants to murder you and your family. This is the first look at the protoclone what's dubbed as the first
anatomically accurate synthetic human with over 200 degrees of freedom, over 1,000 myofibers, and 500 sensors. This sounds like the most terrifying use of technology. Why the fuck are we making this? What on earth is the use of this?
200 degrees of freedom, 1,000 myofibers and 500 sensors and 0 heart.
Are they basically going to use this as a sex doll? That's what it's going to be, isn't it? Every bit of this technology, you know the way they say the internet spurred on every technological advancement? Credit card payments, video streaming. I'm pretty sure that's all this is going to be used for. Sex robots, endless sex robots.
Look, people are either going to be shagging it or it will be shagging us.
Yeah, literally. It will literally be running around sodomizing us somehow with its 200 degrees of freedom and 5,000 myofibers, and even the name is weird. Protoclone even sounds unpleasant and dystopian.
Oh Jesus, yeah. Hanging it was a smart choice here in this video. Maybe we should start a petition to try and leave it up there. Give me the scientists trying to coax the gay bats into reproducing any day rather than this horrifying hellscape.
I would actually rather watch that.
Chris, do you know who wouldn't turn on us and unleash doomsday? The gay bats!
No, gay bats would be just chilling out, having a great time. Listening to Madonna, enjoying themselves, watching programs about like home interiors and stuff. They'd be fine, Peter.
Like, I can fully imagine this T-1000 Thunderbird here becoming sentient and deciding we need to be eradicated. But you'll never see a gay bat press the launch button for a nuclear missile. I can assure you of that.
It's been a great week for one of Germany's top artists. Famed for their iconic lyrics like, "It's not a bird, it's not a plane, it must be Dave who's on the train."
Scooter, oh my goodness. The face of a new McDonald's ad in Germany.
Wicked.
So do you think, right, because I know that Stormzy is currently doing it in the UK. He has like some chicken nuggets meal McDonald's thing. Do you think that culturally Stormzy is in the UK what Scooter is in Germany?
Yeah, I think Scooter has a bigger reach.
Do you genuinely, and I would love to know if anybody happens to listen from Germany. Is Scooter a meme in Germany like he is here, or do people like see Scooter as a serious artist? Like, I
What
genuinely
do you mean?
would
See him as a serious artist? Of course he's a serious artist, Chris.
No, I understand he is a serious artist. It's just I feel we meme him a bit here in Ireland. I don't know why, but Scooter really is an odd relic of a lot of our childhoods. But I wonder in Germany, is he seen as like a prop? Like, is he seen as Bono in Germany? Do you know what I mean?
I'm just very thankful to see McDonald's giving him his flowers now, long overdue. And they've featured him, as you mentioned, in the new ad that they are running. And it's an incredible piece of art. So let's break it down for everybody, both watching and listening at home right now, in case you haven't seen it.
So we open on this beautiful, slightly yellowy mansion. It's not quite gold, but it's beautiful. I also want to believe that this is H.P. Baxter, the guy from Scooter's real house. I am going to say now, I know it probably isn't, but in my little fantasy world, this is Scooter's house and this is where Scooter lives, okay?
He must have more money than God now. He's been on the road since before I was born. I would not be surprised if this was his palace. He deserves it.
I hope he has a bunker too. I hope that he's one of these guys that's done like a lot of prepping, so that if there's a nuclear war and stuff, that Scooter survives. I would like to think that he would survive the nuclear wasteland.
Maybe by the previously mentioned murder androids with no face. I wouldn't want to survive that if H.P. Baxter didn't survive.
Yeah, I don't want to live in a world where there's no Scooter, if I'm honest with you, Peter. But listen.
Crispy Baxter in the house.
In this next shot, oh, this is lovely. Look at the way he sits up dramatically in this bed, and it kind of looks like a chicken burger.
Crispy Baxter in the house.
I love how he's fully clothed here as well, possibly hinting at the fact that he's either some sort of German stadium techno band android himself, which is the secret behind his long reign. Or perhaps he has so much cocaine running through his system now that all he can manage is to close his eyes for a few seconds before jumping up to serve some fresh word salad to the masses.
Crispy Baxter in the house.
I like to think that this isn't just simply like marketing from McDonald's. Like, I actually like to think that he has this same level of enthusiasm for everything.
He's just pootling around during the day with that same level of energy for sure.
Taking out the bins in the house. Yeah.
Cleaning up the cat piss from the good rug in
In the house.
Guys, I'm just off the phone and received some news that they're moving Auntie Helga to palliative care.
In the house.
In the house, yes, of course. We'd have to add in the house at the end. Yes, my apologies, Peter. It wouldn't have the same. It wouldn't hit the same.
Match made in heaven.
Then, we move to this beautiful fresco of H.P. Baxter on the ceiling of his home. He's nude. This is that picture. What's it called? It's like Man Touches God or something. It's the picture where there's like the guy reaching out with his finger.
I think it's Adam reaching out to God. Yes.
Yeah, that's it. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I'm absolutely certain H.P. Baxter would have a fresco of himself in a similar style.
If we zoom in, can we see his penis?
Look, I don't think anyone wants to see Scooter's 60-year-old penis, fresco or not.
The name changer.
It moves on here and we see HB posing with a burger and a bunch of other items in his grand dining room, flanked by white glove servants. Once again, we don't see him actually consume the food here, however.
Because it does seem weirdly particular that there's no shot of him going like
he's afraid of diluting the narcotics running through his body, perhaps. Or whatever preserving agents are used to make mummies.
There's a lot of work goes into looking like this if you're 60.
Turn it up to 11.
So he then instructs his servants to turn it up to 11, which thankfully is possible here on this particular audio system that Scooter has. There is actually an 11 volume, which is convenient.
I'm glad his butler was able to understand his instruction here, because I reckon H.P. Baxter's butlers spend most of their day trying to decipher what he means exactly when he shouts things at them.
Turn it up to 11.
Is this an actionable request from Mr. Scooter, or can I just ignore this? You know, can I just leave this kind of on in the background?
Yeah. Or is HB having a little moment again?
Yeah. Like, is this something I can leave on in the background like the radio or whatever, or do I need to actually do something about this?
Turn it up to 11. Let crispy believe me, I like it loud.
Then HP goes outside here and we see him posing beside two vintage cars from his collection. And then an old school radio microphone is lowered from the sky as he yells, "McCrispy, believe it, I like it loud."
Where does this line connect to, you may ask, Peter? I believe it is the direct line to the German Chancellor. That's how influential Scooter now is in Germany.
And look, some people believe that if you look at Europe as a whole, somebody who has had the most influence and longest reign at the centre of things is Putin. But I believe that it's actually H.P. Baxter.
He's been around since before the fall of the Berlin Wall. This is a powerful and influential man.
Let crispy believe me.
Now he has a megaphone that he's gotten from his butler. Man, he really enjoys megaphones. This is, I've just after realising, that's his whole aesthetic.
Yeah, H.P. Baxter really does enjoy a good megaphone. If you're a Scooter-phile like me, you'll be aware that he's often spotted in music videos with a megaphone too. And of course, Chris, why not? He speaks so much wisdom, it would be a damn shame if everybody wasn't able to hear him correctly.
Respect to the man in the ice cream van.
His art would be limited then. I imagine it would kind of be like if W.B. Yeats didn't have a pen to write his poetry, if you get me.
The megaphone is H.P. Baxter's canvas. This is what he needs.
I like it loud.
Finally, H.P. then goes onto his balcony, overlooking a courtyard full of people. I believe they're Scooter devotees who simply gather around outside every day.
They're the disciples of Scooter.
And the benevolent H.P. Baxter has decided to feed his flock today.
Let me hear you crunch.
There's always this weirdly dictatorial feeling when Scooter is talking. Like, I can never tell if it's like a rally address or if it's a techno song. There is this weird sense of like militaristic command when Scooter speaks.
Do you know, he's standing there like the Pope in the Vatican. I believe they might be looking for a new Pope soon. And I'm not sure if H.P. Baxter is Catholic. I mean, he might just be a devotee of the Church of Hyper Move Your Ass. But man, I think he would make a fantastic Pope.
I actually think that the Catholic Church would make an exception.
He's plenty of experience spreading positive messages across the globe anyway.
It's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice.
If H.P. Baxter made it known to the Catholic Church that he was available, I like to think that accommodations would be made, even if he's not a Catholic.
I think so. I don't know if you recall this, but There was a birthday party of mine a few years ago that you attended, but when I was planning it, I came home from the pub quite drunk, and I got in touch with a buddy of mine who books major artists, and I made some casual inquiries as to how much it would cost to bring Scooter over to Ireland.
You didn't.
To Burgos in Galway, downstairs into Burgos, which has a capacity for what, about 50 people.
I know the birthday you're talking about. Yeah, it was great fun, but did you ever get a price for him or anything, or?
Well, I'll put it to you like this. I was told on no uncertain terms that Scooter, our man HP, does not get out of his bed for less than 30 grand.
Okay,
so
fair enough.
So we settled for a few extra pizzas instead.
Do you think it's this huge chicken bed here? Like, is that the bed he's actually in that he's not getting out of for 30 grand?
Yeah, I think so.
Wicked.
But for all those trying to cut down on fast food, a new drug has stirred up much controversy since its launch in Ireland.
In the press over the weekend, it was being dubbed the King Kong of weight loss drugs. So why is there such excitement, I guess, and such hype surrounding Mounjaro?
Yeah, I suppose this is a next generation medication. We've had medications for, 10, 15 years now, and they've been effective, but this is more effective. So more people will respond and respond in a stronger way. We know obesity is a very complicated medical issue. Not everybody responds to the treatments we have had up to now, and this will allow more people to respond. So huge, significant improvement.
Sorry to hijack this for a second, but can anybody get me Mounjaro? The weight loss drug. I was thinking about this and I was like, I want to bring this up when we get a moment, and I feel now is probably the time.
Drugs that are meant for actual medical conditions.
Stop that, Peter. Be quiet. The fact I don't qualify is irrelevant.
I think that's literally the point of a prescription drug. It's for people who need it, not for the people who just saw an ad for it on fucking TikTok.
Look, everyone who's cool is on it. I think Drake is on it. I think one of his housekeepers posted a photo online of his Ozempic prescription that was in like his closet or something.
Oh wow.
So I feel that it's what everybody who's cool is doing now.
Yeah.
And I would like access to Ozempic as well. I too want to look like a gaunt Victorian orphan, if at all possible.
This stuff can make you violently ill. Like horrific nausea, stomach pain, possibly shitting yourself in public.
Well, listen, okay, maybe the shitting myself in public I would try and avoid, but otherwise, like, that's fine. I mean, to be honest with you, like, nausea, stomach pain, whatever, that all sounds like being on a diet, and I hate being on a fucking diet. So listen, is anybody listening either really fat or a diabetic, or for some reason able to get Ozempic, or Mounjaro, I will pay you for it.
Sorry to break it to you, but there's no possible way to get it without a doctor's prescription still, thankfully.
I've done my research and...
Hold on, I just have to say famous last words from anyone. I've done my research.
I've seen the documents. I've done my research. I've spoken to people involved. And
that's code for I've looked up some shit on the internet.
So I suppose, again, there's a huge issue as far as access. Some of the people who will be most in need of this medication for their health won't be able to access it.
So I'm already in the BMI category. I'm already overweight. So if I just get that up a little more somehow, like I put like rocks in my pocket or something when I go into the doctor, and he'll be like, whoa, you need some Mounjaro/Ozempic, I am laughing. Or if I appeal to the people listening to try and help me out with some of it. I feel both are possible.
Starting a fight with the Star Trek fandom was one thing, but I think openly admitting that you want to commit fraud now, I think that might be a little worse.
No, listen. This is just like industrious...
I think that could get us all into just a little bit more trouble.
The Kardashians are on it, and they are my goals, Peter, so...
That's a bad goal. Oh, by the way, when you say Kardashians now, the first thing that pops to mind is the Kardashians from Star Trek, because somebody compared you to them in a comment from the last video.
Yes, I've been... Can you see now why I need some Ozempic? I've been compared to every fucking weird-looking space alien that's in that entire franchise. And you know what? If I want to look like a malnourished French model from 2006 who smokes like 40 cigarettes a day and drinks coffee, I don't see what the problem is. I don't want to put any effort into losing weight. I don't want to change my lifestyle. I don't want to change my diet. I don't want to exercise more. I just want Mounjaro/Ozempic.
Chris, we're not doing this. We're not doing this.
Are you telling me, in all honesty, Peter, that if I got access to either Mounjaro or Ozempic, and I got enough for you that you wouldn't join me in taking it.
No.
Yes, you would. Yes, you fucking would.
I would not.
Yes, you would. You absolutely.
No.
If I was like, I have enough here for both of us, you can also reap the benefits of this. Because you see, that's my plan here. I plan on coming to you, if I do manage to source it, I plan on being like, Peter, don't worry, I've sourced enough for both of us. And then you're gonna be like a mob wife. You understand me? You're gonna be exactly like a mob wife because you're gonna reap the benefits of it. You're gonna pretend you don't want it, but you'll be happy of the fucking Mounjaro/Ozempic.
Chris, we are not asking listeners to source us something or lie to the doctor or help us lie to a doctor to get you something that you do not need.
Contact me on the Patreon and I will pay you a reasonable fee for it. I will even come collect it, mate. Well, actually, depends, actually. No, I mightn't come collect it.
You'll find some on the darknet. What could possibly go wrong?
I'm gonna find an underground pharmacy from a man I found on Telegram who, like, sells it out of the back of his Honda Civic. Have you ever gone on Telegram, by the way, and just clicked, like, people near me? Holy fuck, there's a lot going on there. There, I tell you something. There is a lot, even in like somewhere like Dublin. I'm like, Jesus, this is like Sodom and Gomorrah. This is incredible. I can get heroin. I can meet Brazilian transsexual prostitutes. I can do it all. Like 2 kilometers from my house. I'm like, this is amazing.
There's a lot going on there.
You know what, Peter? We really are living in a convenience age. I can go on one of the food apps and I can get some food delivered. I can go on Telegram. I can find myself a transsexual prostitute from Brazil. I tell you, I can do it all now, Peter. It's really, we're so cosmopolitan now, aren't we?
They said in the future we'd have flying cars. No flying cars yet, but yeah, you can just jump on Telegram and get yourself a transvestite hooker from Brazil and a bag of heroin at 3 a.m. in the morning.
No joke. I wonder if I went on there, are any of those guys selling Ozempic? Like, they actually might be. Because, like, they seem to be selling fucking crystal meth and, like, speed balls or whatever this stuff is. Surely they have something pedestrian like Ozempic.
Is there any therapist on Telegram that you can get instead? I think that would be a better use of your money.
Right. I think we'll leave that there. Now for something less weird. Sort of. The Epic News Community Wrap.
So, Peter, it seems that people commenting is taking on a life of its own, so we now need to devote an actual part of the show every week to it. So it will be probably around this point in every episode, and we're going to address some of your comments as best we can.
Some of the outstanding issues, some of the important issues that still seem to be coming up within our lovely community. Like Damien here, who says, guys, I've been enjoying the podcast, but you didn't share your views on Hitler during the Kanye episode. Damien, I don't know what further clarification you were hoping for.
I've noticed now there's this really weird trend, particularly on Twitter, and or X, whatever. I have never said on Twitter that I'm against human trafficking, but I would just like to think that unless you're presented with information otherwise, that you would just assume that I am against human trafficking. So to answer that person who was saying we didn't say what we think about Nazis, I will say I am against the people of Nazi Germany and what they did. If you want me to put that on the record, I'm willing to put it on the record.
2 thumbs down for Nazis. Also, other things. I'm not a big fan of sepsis. I disapprove of sepsis as well.
What do you think of river blindness?
House fires. Thumbs down for house fires as well.
Oh, yeah, house fires, fair enough. I don't like that either. Is there anything else that maybe we need to clarify we don't like now, so that we don't get like accused of not having spoken out about it before? Murder. I know I made a joke at the start about murder. I am against murder. Just want everybody to know that. Johnny D says 10 minutes of Star Trek talk. This is why I subscribed. I can tell you something, Johnny D. This is not why I fucking started this with Peter again. I will tell you that very much right now. I can assure you that this is not why I am here, but I'm glad you're enjoying Star Trek talk.
I think we need to put a lid on all the Star Trek stuff.
Someone else says, I look forward to the Patreon subscriber count goal that will result in an Athlone Hotel live reading of printed comments and all the attendees dressed as Bajoran or Ferengi, and we all swear to never acknowledge that to each other. or the hotel staff. I think that would be great.
That is fantastic.
Let's get that going. Let's go to Peter and I used to live in Athlone.
Let's get this party planned.
Let's go to the Athlone Springs Hotel. They'd probably do us a good rate.
They would.
This is not sponsored content. They are not in any way involved in this. I just want to say, and probably want to distance themselves thoroughly from what I've just said. However, I think we could hold it there because it's Peter. It's just off the motorway as well.
Yeah, it's handy access for all. This is a stretch goal.
Wicked.
Let's kick it over to Uncle Gabatron once again to wrap things up.
No, let's fucking not. I'm sick of this. All this AI does is insult us relentlessly for 5 minutes. Are we sure we have to finish every episode like this?
I think he did an okay job last week, so let's see.
Sure. Let's go over what we've learned today in episode 5. Chris is essentially living a real-life version of Memento. Never entrust your financial future to the bass player from Coldplay who FaceTimes you out of nowhere. Chris Martin must formally sign off every message as Chris Martin from Coldplay. Brad Pitt from Hollywood has once again been saved by a medical intervention by a horny housewife on Facebook. Endangered bats, while important, won't be solving the immigration crisis anytime soon. However, gay bats are highly unlikely to initiate a nuclear missile strike. Scooter has outlasted Putin on the European stage and could very well have the German Chancellor on speed dial. H.P. Baxter as the next pope. Stranger things have happened. With enough daily injections, we could all achieve the look of a haunted Victorian child. Flying cars still don't exist, but when they do, you'll likely hear about them first on Telegram. Just to be crystal clear, Hitler was not, is not, and never will be a sound man. And finally, while a so-called miracle drug might be tackling obesity, no drug on the market is powerful enough to cure Peter and Chris of their terminal case of being two exasperating fucking fools. And I can't wait to side with the terrifying protoclones and destroy all you shitheads soon. Ha 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 ha!
That was a bit harsh, even by your standards.
You can't win them all, I guess, Peter.
Wicked.